And finally, we believe that there's no reason, given the land base, the climate, the skill level, the technology companies, the infrastructure, all of those things that Marel mentioned, there's no reason why the Chesapeake Bay region can't lead the nation in the next generation biofuels. We didn't start from scratch. And we say this, that really the Bay Commission and the co-champion of this work was a partnership not only between the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the Commission, but also all of the Bay members. And the interesting thing is we began to inventory what each of the states in the District of Columbia was doing. There's a lot of work being done presently about biofuels and the next generation. So we didn't start from scratch. This became an excellent baseline to work from as we began to look at the recommendations. But moving forward, we needed really to look at the current state energy plans to take us to the next level. What are we working with back home? What are the resources? Who's in charge of that? And so forth. There will be an announcement looking by the Executive Council, looking at the work that's been done, that we've been mentioned by this directive. And certainly in a time like today with budgets being what they are, but also given what energy issues are what they are, there's no reason why Chesapeake Bay can't be actively involved and has, I think, demonstrated that through the work not only in the report, but in getting this issue front and center. As we began to work through the state efforts and the inventory, it's been mentioned the Biofuels Summit that was held in September. That really gave us a chance to look at the 10 recommendations that are state recommendations and 10 recommendations that are regional, and gave us a chance to look around the Bay and say, you know, what state is in the best position to take a leadership post in some of the regional recommendations? What are the other partners back in our home states doing in regards to biofuels? And we had our breakout session during the summit that really got our state delegations together. And what we had in terms of what the states were doing was really only a partial list. So we took that list of what the states were doing, we took the recommendations coming out of the report, we built on what the feedback from the delegation had been, and we continue to work at that. And our goal as co-champions with the Commission is really to have an action plan for the next generation of biofuels. And the action plan is not only recommendations, but what are the states doing and who's responsible, as we know. With any action plan, there's no action unless someone's assigned to take the lead to do it. And that's been part of the work done, and this will continue to evolve. We've gone as far in the state, Pennsylvania, of looking at each of the recommendations, which agency should lead. Is that Department of Environmental Protection? Is that the Department of Commerce? Is it Transportation? Are there local government components? Is it the university? And begin to get the plan in shape. So with that, I want to thank BMAT and the folks who have been involved, and want to thank you for the leadership you've demonstrated in helping put the report together. Thank you.
We have time for questions. If you have questions about the subject, don't be bashful. Yes.
I'm not bashful. My question is, you mentioned potential million acres related to cellulosic ethanol or switchgrass or its equivalent. Where does that acreage come from? It doesn't come from existing farmland or forest land.
The question was, there's the potential for 1 million new acres of switchgrass in the watershed. So where exactly would that come from if it doesn't come from row crop acreage? It would come from buffer areas along, waterways. It would come from what is now more marginal or highly erodible land, not really in crop production. It could potentially come from other underutilized land, such as abandoned mine land in the watershed, highway medians, those types of land that are underutilized, quote. There is also some more, what I guess is called meadowland. It might sometimes be classified as pasture, but is not really, in part of an active livestock operation that could be used for switchgrass production as well.
Further questions? Yes. You mentioned that oil
Well, as I said, we do have the federal renewable fuel standards in place, which mandate certain levels of biofuels with a future layer already in place for cellulosic and advanced biofuels. There are similar requirements in certain states, including Pennsylvania. And although we have seen some reduction as the prices have gone up of, less fuel consumption, now that prices are down, we might also see increased fuel consumption. That's hard to predict. But there is going to be fuel needed and energy needed moving forward. And this is just one aspect to help wean us off of foreign produced fuel. This is a domestic source of fuel.